What's behind you? Hello, welcome to Culture Filter. I am Phil. This is the channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture I like, including an awful lot of Doctor Who. And we're here for another Doctor Who review about the latest episode, The Well, joined by my daughter Paige. Not Rowan this time. He decided he didn't want to partake this time round. So maybe he'll be back next week, maybe he won't. It depends how he feels. But we're here to talk about The Well. So we're going to do non-spoilers first. Very quick non-spoiler section. Then I'll warn you before we're getting into spoilers because there are some big spoilers for this episode. So first of all, overall, what did you think of the episode?
It was a good episode, I think.
It was in times a very scary episode. Did you like being... I know you were scared because there were a couple of moments where you literally jumped and were like like that. So did you like being... Did you like that being scared?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I jumped a couple of times with a couple of the jump scares in it.
There was quite a few jumps.
The horror...
Scary. I know it. Can I say it when we get into spoilers?
Yeah, we'll get on to the specific moments when you got scared later on because there's kind of spoilers. So we'll just talk more generally now. So yeah, I really like the tone of this episode. There were some great emotional beats into it that we'll get into in a bit. I thought the music was great. I'll talk about that a bit more in the spoiler section as well because there were some specific bits I want to highlight. Overall, I thought this was just a fantastic episode. It might be my favourite episode of the 15th Doctor's era. But we'll see. I mean, I have to look back on some of those more favourite ones from Series 1, like Boom and Dot and Bubble and stuff. But I think this might be my favourite episode of the 15th Doctor's era so far. What about you?
I don't think it's my favourite, but I think it's like one of my top 5.
Cool. Okay, spoiler warning. We're going to start talking spoilers now.
Before we get into spoilers, I just want to say that at the start of the episode, I noticed that Belinda's 50 dress kind of looks like a banana.
Because they had the white bits that look like peel at the top.
And then it was all yellow, and it just looks like a banana.
The fact that she's still in her 50s dress, we've now got 3 episodes that basically happen back to back for the Doctor, which I don't think we've had for... I don't know if we've ever had that. Have we ever had that? Maybe... No, I don't think we have. Apart from in Flux, I guess. In Doctor Who Flux, that happened. So this feels like one of the most serialised seasons of Doctor Who, apart from Flux, that maybe we've had in the modern series. Obviously, Flux was a lot more serialised, but this, in terms of more episodic seasons... feels very serialised with the going to place, putting the Vindicator out. There's this continuing thread, each episode picking up immediately after the previous one. I suspect we'll get a little time jump after this one because they've got to have some kind of gap for all the comics and books and stuff that will feature both of them to fit into. So I reckon the gap might come after this episode. But it's nice having the 3.
What does serialised mean?
It means the story continues over multiple episodes. So it's not just hey, this is the story for this episode and this is the story for next and they're not connected. There's this serialized element where them trying to get Belinda home is a running thing that happens across multiple episodes, and the episode picks up immediately after the previous episode where they're still dealing with the thing from the previous episode, i.e. they can't get her home. There's obviously still the more episodic story within that is contained to this episode. But I like these little serialised elements. I think the show kind of needs that in the modern era, so I liked that.
When they drop down from the spaceship and they're on the planet, when they have their helmets on, I think it just looked really odd and weird. Their face just seemed to get really bigger, and it was just weird.
I suppose they didn't keep them on for too long, so that's might have been one of the reasons why. I did wonder, did the TARDIS because they came out in the same uniforms as everyone else. And they're uniforms, not just when they got into 50s clothes and it's kind of oh, this is the era. They are specific uniforms. Did they know... Did the TARDIS, scan and tell them what clothes they would need? I guess that must have been what happened.
I always wonder when they're getting changed, what happens in there?
Yeah.
Do they pick out clothes from a wardrobe? Is there a wardrobe in there? What happens?
Well, we've seen the TARDIS does have a wardrobe. We've fairly recently watched the first Christmas special where he regenerates from the 9th Doctor. He's just regenerated from the 9th Doctor to the 10th Doctor. And he gets his new costume with the suit and stuff from the wardrobe, doesn't he? So the TARDIS has a
wardrobe.
Yeah. Because remember we went in there and I think Rowan said, why has the TARDIS changed? Because it looks a bit like the console room, but there's just clothes everywhere. There's not the console and stuff. in that episode?
I
You
don't
can't remember
remember.
that. We only watched it a few weeks ago. There we go. Anyway, so either that or maybe they have a machine now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get on to... Right, I'm going to talk about the big spoiler of the episode. And it was rumoured, potentially leaked, but... or that this is a sequel to the episode Midnight. That was hinted at even back in when they did the title reveals. There was for this one, there was a clock that ticked over from 23:59 to midnight. So that was always like in there hinting that, but they revealed it here.
Why, like, the whole thing with leading with midnight, when you get into the monster and the monster's, like, on you, it's in, like, a circle. So, like, when you get to midnight, it kind of, like, I don't know how to explain it.
So,
but
well, yes, because they were the monster, the
monster
creature,
kills
the entity now has this thing where if you go behind it, it will kill you. It's obviously operating very differently than it did in the episode Midnight.
what happened?
You've not seen that episode yet. Maybe we should watch that episode. It kind of took over people. It took over people, possessed someone, and then started mimicking someone's speech. And then got closer and closer. So it started like, you know, like when you do I'm copying you type games and you repeat what somebody says.
Yeah.
Did that. But it got quicker and quicker to the point where it said the thing before the person had said it. And kind of froze the Doctor. I'll show you the episode rather than going into the whole plot now.
Okay.
But it operated very differently to how it operates here. But that was 400,000 years ago in the time frame. So probably it's evolved in that time. And changed in that time and changed its way it operates in that time. But I did kind of like... I had heard the rumours. I had also guessed that it was from that hints that they gave in the title reveal. But as soon as they said galvanic radiation, I knew that okay, that's confirmed. It is definitely midnight. And then later on we get the actual reveal. I thought the music in this episode from Murray Gold was absolutely on point. It created a great atmosphere throughout the whole episode, really utilised well. It rose to crescendos and then suddenly stopped. And there was silence, like the moment where they first open the door and find Alice in that room. The tension was built with the music as they were opening the door. And then just cutting to that silence and seeing a reaction on the Doctor's face. That worked really well. I really liked that. Did you notice anything? Did you notice the music, or was that kind of just you didn't think about the music?
I didn't really think about the music.
That's fair enough. For me, it worked really well in the scene and in the scenes there were really great music.
I loved it a bit when like the plot where because she was deaf, Alice?
Yeah, Alice.
Alice was deaf. She couldn't hear the whispering of the monster, but the Doctor could and like other people could. And the monster knew the Doctor's name.
Yes.
Maybe the monster will tell me.
I don't think so. Nobody ever gets to know the Doctor's real name.
Except for the monster.
Apart from the monster. We never get to hear it as the audience. There was an interesting plot point, again, part of the serialised story, the story arc of this season, where none of these people, the squadron, were humans there, and they'd never heard of Earth or humans. So that kind of ties into, okay, has the Earth been destroyed? We've obviously seen...
But aren't they humans?
No, they just look like humans.
But then what are they?
I can't remember, but they did say their species name at some point. But I didn't note it down, so I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, they're not humans. They're just a species that looks very much like human. And we've obviously seen the Empire State Building, Eiffel Tower floating in space and stuff, and a taxi from Earth, which the Doctor hasn't seen. So we already knew kind of something had happened to the Earth, but this kind of confirms it. And now the Doctor knows something might have happened to Earth as well. Up until now, he just knew that he couldn't get Belinda back to that date and didn't know why. Now he has a bit more information, and it's not good information. So, yeah, well, that nicely ties into the overarching story arc.
I just want to make something very clear. I did not like
Cassio?
Yeah, Cassio.
Yeah, he was not a nice person, was he? He was very...
No, he was just like, he was just like, I want to kill. I don't care about your reasoning. I just want to, like, kill you.
He really resented the Doctor being there, didn't he? And
Didn't appreciate.
yeah, and then when he sort of mutinied against his team leader because the team leader was going along with what the Doctor was suggesting to do, yeah, there was a
Red card.
Yeah, he was very aggressive all the time towards Alice, and
Mean.
yeah, he wasn't a very nice person, but he worked really well as a character within that, and how they used him, I think. And then when he
And then the troop leader used Alice and, like, the monster, like, kind of against him as Alice turned around so that Cassio
yeah.
was behind the monster, so then he technically, like, died.
Yeah, and she didn't do that out of any malice. She did it to save the rest of her troops. He was, at that point, so intense, so focused on getting around, circling Alice, that he was putting his other teammates at risk and getting them killed. And the only way to stop that seemed to be to the team leader to get Alice to turn around and kill him effectively. Because the monster the entity would kill him, which I thought was a nice moment there. That worked really well as well. What did you think of Alice? Don't have any thoughts on Alice. Okay.
I felt bad for her because, one, she's deaf, and two, she didn't really know what was going on at first. And, like, when they were talking and she didn't understand, she was like, what's going on? And people kept, like, jumping up. And then when she just wanted to go home, and that the monster had been with her for, like, a while.
Yeah, she wanted to go home and get to her daughter. Very touching moment when she was, saying she's just leaving now. Like, that's one of those moments that, because it's about a child and a thing. Ever since this one's been a child and a parent. Those moments really get me. Those moments.
Yeah, you tell us all the time.
I do, really, yeah, when it's relevant and it comes up. And it did here. So that was a nice moment, bringing the really, made me really feel for her. And I thought that was really well acted and absolutely, yeah, really enjoyed that.
I loved the plot where, so if you killed the person that the monster was behind, the monster would suddenly go to you.
Yes.
I liked that because then it's hard.
Hey, dude. Did you want to come and join in? Rowan's decided to join us now.
In the middle of my sentence.
Carry on.
So, like, so you kill the person with the monster behind, it comes straight to you. And that worked really well at the end when it came behind Belinda and the troop leader, like, shot her but didn't kill her. And, then she ran and jumped into the well.
Yes, that was a really nice moment where Rowan accidentally stopped the recording, so I don't know when he did that. I really like the plan about how they got it off of Alice by reflecting it in the mercury behind the monster, so the monster was effectively behind itself. That was quite clever. And then I kind of thought they were going to get away then, but then they added this extra kind of jeopardy at the end where they find out it's on Belinda. And of course it had to be Belinda because that's the most sort of emotionally charged way it could be. But the commander then steps in, says that it can get it off her by shooting Belinda in a place where it probably won't kill her. But, we know Belinda's going to survive because we know she's in future episodes. But there's that tension there that, in the story, they don't know if this will work. But it does, and it gets onto the commander, and then she runs and commits suicide by jumping into the well.
By getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Or is it? Yes, as we maybe find out at the end, left on a little cliffhanger there. So I thought that was all really great stuff. And yeah, that cliffhanger at the end where it's left like, oh, actually, did they get rid of it? Or is it still on one of the troopers at the back? Because we end on this moment where one of the other troopers that was just on the ship looks at Mo, and kind of sees something behind it, and you just see the worry on Mo's face. And
She's
don't,
like,
and then it ends.
What? And then the girl was like, nothing.
Yeah, which is how it started when Belinda started seeing the creature. So there we go. That. Who knows? Maybe we'll get another sequel to this at some point in the future. It's out there as a possibility.
Episodes.
We don't know if it actually is there or if this kind of left ambiguous, which I like. There were a lot of people when this rumour that they were going to do a sequel to Midnight came out that were worried, because Midnight is a beloved episode, and part of the reason people like it is because it's never revealed what the entity is. So they were worried that this would kind of retroactively kind of spoil the previous episode. But I don't think it does that at all. I think this works really well as a sequel to this. It was a risk, but I think it paid off, and we got a real great episode. There's one moment where the Doctor really wants to see what it looks like, and we think the Doctor does see it because they're running they're running through it, but we don't. We sort of see a shadow.
It looks slimy. Like there was like a shadow of like a slimy maybe tentacle.
Yeah.
And like it just looked really slimy, and I love slimy creatures.
So that mystery of what that creature is still there, and I think that's what people were worried it would reveal too much about the entity, and I don't think it does. It gives us some new stuff about the entity, but it doesn't reveal the origin or anything like that. Rowan, you haven't spoken yet since you've arrived. What did you like the episode? Were you scared? Did you get scared? We didn't. Did we talk about when the jump scares were? When?
Oh no.
When that? For me, it was. I think for both of us, like Belinda had kind of noticed something out the corner of her eye, but we hadn't seen anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, it kind of jumps, and then it's her.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh, what happened? It's like it jump scares us.
Yeah, and there was that little. We saw a little thing over her shoulder, and it was like the way it was cut together, the way the music worked with it. That did absolutely give me a jump scare. And I was like, oh, and you were like full on, like with your hands in front. Did that scare you at all, dude? No, you're brave.
Braver
than us.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see it. You were distracted doing something
playing.
else. Do you have a favourite bit? No? Was there any bits you didn't like?
All of it.
Oh. Did you
Didn't
not like
any
it?
of it?
Wow. Not.
I didn't like it. I didn't like people dying.
Oh, yeah.
But that happens in most episodes.
It's not a
so-
fun one. It's a scary one. Do you prefer the fun ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, do you have a favourite moment?
Oh, when the troop leader jumps into the well.
When she jumps into the well. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Trying to get rid of it.
That was a good moment.
Sacrificed herself.
There were a few moments which kind of were great emotional beats as well, yeah?
There was something, another bit, when she was running to the well, like she was going past corridors, you saw like her younger self running through like fire and stuff.
Oh, yeah. That was...
I loved that.
That was, yeah, good visuals, but it was kind of a bit like, oh, what? This is a bit out of nowhere. That's the one bit of the episode where I'd go, what's this about? Okay,
I knew what it was about. It's because it was about, she was sacrificing herself. She was doing her, like, job. Like, what she was doing. And she's just going back to when she was younger and she had to do what her job was, I think. And,
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe, yeah. There was the one thing they did. I did wonder if that scene plays into the story, because there were some bones in that scene, in that flashback. Some creature bones, and their bones are going to play relevant in Wish World in the future, in the Bone Palace. So I don't know if that's connected or not. Mrs. Flood got her appearance at the end.
Yes, she did.
I don't know what to think about that. I need to think some more, and maybe come up with some theories, and maybe I'll do a video in the middle of the week about that. But she was there on the comm screen. And she knows about the Vindicators. So what does that mean? Let me know your theories below.
She's been spying, of course, like she always does.
Yes. So there we go. I thought that was a fantastic episode. Top form. This season so far has been absolutely top form. I wish last season had started as strong as this season has started, because I think... that would have served the show so much better. But there we go. But I'm having a great time this season and really enjoying it. I hope it keeps up this quality.
And I'm really excited for the next one.
Oh, yeah, because Ruby's your favourite companion. So
and she's coming back.
She's
we
back.
get to see her again.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week for that. Whether or not Rowan joins us, we'll see. We'll see. It's another scary one. You might not want to again. But there we go. We'll be there for that. And yeah, check out one of my other videos about season 2. I'll put one on screen now for you to click and enjoy. Goodbye.
Bye. Like and subscribe.
Check it out.